Yeah.
Alright guys, so I'm at a standstill right now with this, with the motor because I'm still waiting on parts. But that is fine by me. I have plenty of suspension parts for the front and rear. I have new A-arms. I have new struts for the front. I have new hubs with, you know, the bearings and all that. New brakes. Pretty much have everything that would make this car pass an inspection and make it feel new again. You do have to remember this car is a 1998 and we are currently in 2020, so you do the math. This car is probably older than most Mustang channel viewers. So with that being said, let's get to it. Take a look here. This is at the bottom of the caliper bracket. There's only one bolt that holds this in, and it takes a T50 Torx bit. At the top right here where my light is resting right here, that is just a pin. There's no bolt, so it just slides right off. I mean, you might have to beat it off a little bit because it's kind of rusty depending on what shape your stuff is in. But you might have to, you know, give it a little bit of force. But this is basically all that holds the caliper on to the bracket. All right, so I hung the caliper. All I did was take a coat hanger and see it right there. Put it through that hole, and it's hanging. That's really not going to be out of the way because I am replacing the strut, and pretty much everything down here is going to get refreshed. So there's no real way to hang it out of the way. Just the best you can do is just work around it and keep it to where it's, you know, movable. Just be careful, don't scratch up your paint like with the coat hanger. I just kind of tucked it away. But we are recoating this car, so we you know, I'm really not too concerned with a couple little scratches because I'm gonna have to scuff the paint up anyway. But anyway, we'll get back to it. Alright, I'm gonna change this hub assembly while it's on the spindle, just to make life a little bit easier on me. But that is a 35 millimeter. That is probably something that you don't have laying around in your toolbox if you're a beginner on wrenching. Jesus, can't talk. So you either have to just go buy that individual socket, or you can go to like Harbor Freight and buy an I think it's like a front wheel drive axle, something another, I can't remember. It's like 40 bucks. Or you can just buy the individual socket if you can find it somewhere, but 35 millimeter. Alright, eventually you are going to come to a point where you have your caliper, and I just tied the spindle up so I didn't mess up the ABS sensor because the nut is stripped. You're going to come to a point, you come to this point, the inner tie rod on this car has no play and it is nice and stiff. The outer tie rod, however, needs to be replaced. So what you have to do is you have to loosen this nut right here, okay, and whenever you do, this will spin free. So basically what you're gonna do is you're gonna count how many times it spins when you're taking it off. That way whenever you put the new one on, you count that, how many spins you got to put it on. That's a good way to keep the alignment safe until you get to the alignment shop. The other tip is, while I'm in here, and if you need to, change the motor mounts because it's fairly easy to. It's just damn, can you see up in there? I don't know if you can see up in there. that nut right there. Loosen that one, and then you got 3 more nuts on the block itself. But we already have the heads off and all that stuff, so it's all easy access. And have the if you take the A arms off, be sure to loosen the nuts on the steering rack so you can pry it forward, because these bolts don't come out very easy on the A arms. Here, that is the old A arm. Here's the new one. Here's the new outer tie rod end. This car's gonna be in good shape whenever it's all done. And I believe we're gonna just go ahead and delete the front sway bar. This is this was planned to be a street strip application. And obviously, I mean, it's not set up to be a road race car, so that's what I plan on doing it. I'll leave that up to you, but I'm just going to go ahead and unbolt it and take it off, shed some weight, and save some time. Alright, I discovered something I'm kind of glad I discovered. I want to show you guys, I want to share with you. You see this inner tie rod here? How I can pick up on it, and it kind of slowly goes back down. Alright, so I'm waiting on some parts, and on the driver's side, the inner tie rod is, see, I'll pick it up. Yeah, so that's definitely signs of wear, and this boot has actually got a hole in it. You can see my finger sticking through it. So I'm gonna order those parts. This is the stuff I was kind of hoping for. That way I can show you guys as much content as I can whenever I'm bringing this car back to life. So I'm gonna go ahead and order that. In the meantime, I'm gonna change the motor mounts. The motor mounts, they aren't showing they don't have the typical signs of worn out, but visually you can see that the rubber is really worn out. And I think that if I'm gonna sell a car and put my name on that title as the seller, I think it's kind of my responsibility to make this car as reliable as possible for the next owner. So, oh yeah, buddy, good call on changing the motor mount. Shoo-wee. The passenger side, not that bad. But compared to the new one, huge difference. It's gonna be a huge difference in the car. Here's the new strut. This is the old strut. Wouldn't be surprised if this is the factory strut. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure it is. With further research, I've noticed that there's not really a lot of information out there. I mean, there's a lot of breeze through, snap your fingers type of YouTube videos out there on how to do this. But I've just kind of noticed that there's not really much information on changing your front struts on the SN95. So with my dull ass pocket knife, first thing you're going to want to do is obviously cut the strap. Take this and pump it. I would probably say 3 to 5 times. You be the judge. Trying to get all the air out of it. I'm gonna do it 4 times because thug life. Alright, so where on earth did I put, there it is. This, you're gonna have to get a little flathead and pry a little bit, prod around, poke. this tripod up real quick. You're not going to reuse this, so don't worry about, you know, breaking it or whatever. I'd be more worried about breaking your screwdriver. Alright, so this, oh my god, is always going to be a pain in the ass because it's probably got about 30 years of road grime underneath it. There we go. Still with me? Okay. Good. You're not going to reuse this. Actually, you don't even need this to begin with. If you do plan on putting a new one on, if you do plan on putting this on, get a new one. Whatever. But keep this in mind that you have to remember where everything goes. This is the only thing that I'm reusing. This is the plate that goes in the shock tower. This is the plate that goes underneath. This right here is pretty much useless. That is for that. So I am not replacing this on the new one. New stuff right here. Alright, one of the main reasons I took this off is because when you are going to loosen that nut that is up here, you're going to have to probably take this off and put vice grips or something like a pipe wrench to hold this still. I got lucky and didn't have to. Ended up busting it loose with the with my impact. But anyway, I'm going to show you how to reassemble the new one. Again, this is the only thing that you are reusing. I'm trying to get this so you guys can see it. I promise you guys, I'm going to upgrade all my camera stuff. You've got to be kidding. And voila. Jesus Christ, I don't know if y'all hear that, man. It's like end of days weather right now. Like, it was just calm and clear outside. Now it's like windy and sounds like a tornado or some shit. Anyway, enough of God's playing with the weather. I got the new inner tie rod. Just, you know, one from the parts store. So I'm going to change this one now. The way I'm going to do it, you don't have to do it that way. You can use a big crescent wrench. Just turn the wheel all the way to the driver's side or passenger side, whichever one you're changing. That way you can get in there. But I have this nifty inner tie rod changing tool. It's basically like a big mag light hollowed out. And this one in particular, of course, is metric, 33.6 millimeter. So bear with me, I'm working in a tight spot with broad shoulders. That's going to slide over top of that. Then this is going to go. Come on, man, you guys, I know you guys get the idea. Them little ears lock in there. I can't do this with one hand. I'm getting frustrated. Alright, with not much effort, got the old one off there. The new one. See this one? I can't even really move it at the little. This one is. Anyway, I'm gonna set the jam nut to about the same as that one. This one was frozen on there. It wouldn't even turn. So I'll get that all set up, get this new one on. You can see also this one had had one of the pins in it, but it was all boogered up. I was thinking about drilling it out, but it ended up turning easy. This one's got two. So once you get it tightened on there, you can lock them down. I've heard of people not using these and just using thread locker. A little determination. It's on there. See? Much nicer. Got the little set screws, little lock pins in. And I thought I might want to add that if you have, come on, cord, get some more. You might want to check to make sure on your rack to make sure there's no power steering fluid leaking out of here, because if there is, you need a new rack. Just ain't no sense in even trying to beat around the bush. So now I got the boot, and I thought this was interesting because I guess the people over there at Moog are not much different than me, because I thought, what's the point of all them clamps whenever you can zip tie it? Well, guess what it came with? Two zip ties. Bullshit you not. They do the same job. Get this on there and it's pretty much done. Old spring. New spring. Boom. Alright, driver side's done. Got new brake pads, brake rotors, yeah, that thing, the hub assembly is new. New strut, new, let me turn this light on real quick. Inner and outer tie rods, new boots, brand new springs, brand new lower control arms. This thing is top notch now, man. Whoever buys this car is going to be super happy to have damn near a brand new SN95. I mean, it's going to be a nice, stiff riding car.